1 week from today, LSU Baseball will start the season. Calm down, Musso. Jeez. God. Do you feel bad for him?
Who's more excited, Musso or Hunt Palmer?
Musso.
Musso?
Do you feel bad for him because first pitch is on Valentine's Day, and he said LSU Baseball is my Valentine. Oh. I was like, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, a little bit. That
Don't.
came out of your mouth?
Don't. I mean,
I do.
Well, your
Paul?
prerogative. I'm perfectly happy.
Paul, do you feel bad for Musso?
Voice of reason.
Paul?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't take LSU Baseball out to dinner
Yeah.
and then maybe a drink afterward.
No, you can't.
I mean, technically,
Can't
no.
slow dance with it.
You can't slow dance with LSU Baseball.
No. Curl up on the couch to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm. You can't do that. Maybe you should ask out one of the Batgirls.
I'm good.
That would be a close.
No, I'm good.
No, seriously. Think about it. They could wear their Batgirl uniform.
It could be like.
That's close.
It's close. It's like he's going out with baseball.
Yeah, it's one of the Batgirls. That's what I would suggest.
Okay. All right, let's talk some LSU baseball. Let's go straight up the middle. I want to talk about LSU's defense up the middle. Catcher, middle, infield, center field. Let's start with catcher. Paul Mainieri's kind of went back and forth. Garza's obviously the guy, but they really like Alex Milazzo as well. How do you see that?
Man, what I see playing out is probably something similar to 2000 when we had Brad Cressy and Ryan Jorgensen. Both guys, kind of different skill sets. Jorgie was more of the – there you go, Jorgie. Yeah.
And Cressy.
Jorgie.
You don't need to give him a nickname.
No,
because he already ends in a Y.
He was born into it.
Jorgie. Yeah. Baseball guy, Cressy, with a Y at the end. Not a Y, but the Y sound, the E.
The E. Jorgensen was the technician behind the plate. Jorgie was the technician behind the plate, could really catch and throw. Now, he could swing the bat too, but, elite arm. And so when we would play teams that would run quite a bit, Jorgie would catch.
Mm-hmm.
Flip side of that, if the team wasn't a team that had a whole lot of speed or didn't run a whole lot, Cressy would catch. Jorgie would DH, and they would kind of flip-flop those two spots. I don't really see this being a, Milazzo DHs when Garza catches type thing, but maybe when Milazzo catches, Garza DHs. I think his bat probably stays in the lineup. I hope Milazzo gets some innings because I think it's gonna be huge for his development moving forward. I do see him as kind of being the future behind the plate. But you've got two good options back there. Garza was hindered last year with injuries, man. He had a couple things. Obviously, he had surgery in the offseason, then the thumb deal. So seeing him at full strength, I think we're going to see a different guy than we did last year. But there's no disputing the fact that Alex Milazzo is an elite catcher, probably the best arm I've seen from a high school player, and I just anticipate it to get better.
So Garza's in the lineup every day.
Yeah, it has to be.
So even if Milazzo catches, Garza's going to DH.
I believe so.
Let's go to the middle infield. Who is most likely to take the starting shortstop job from Hal Hughes if it happens?
The Mathis kid possibly gets some run there. I do think Cade Doty can play shortstop, man. I know. Paul had kind of questioned whether he's gonna play second or not, and Gavin Dugas a really nice player as well, so I think he gets some time. But we'll talk about second in a minute. What's the junior college guy that transferred in the shortstop? It's slipping my mind. Look, Hal's the guy right now. Hal can catch ground balls. Hal had a great summer and swung the bat really, really well. If he can improve on the hitting, I think defensively, I know that he's more than serviceable right there. So, today he's the shortstop. I don't see like somebody right on his heels, nipping at his heels to take the position today. Which is weird because normally there's quite a few shortstops on the roster.
So, excuse me. So Hughes stays at short. It's one of those. Is it one of those things where even if the bat doesn't come because it's a premium defensive position, you leave him there? We've seen this a couple times. Austin Nola as a freshman batted right at 200, but he was playing a premium defensive position. Andrew Stevenson in 2013 hit 189 but he and Laird, you could have been basically playing with two outfielders. So we've seen that before with Maneri. Maybe it's one of those things where nobody challenges Hughes because you want the best defender over there. So what about at second with Gavin Dugas there and then Doty? And I was the one who asked Maneri the question about Doty, because he's a very highly thought of prospect. So those are the guys that typically you tend to be able to shift to different spots in the infield. I mean, we saw that with Josh Smith, who started his career at third, then went over to short. Is Doty not a guy that in his career could end up playing short?
I mean, I think he can. Kane Doty's a big boy. I mean, he's a tall, heavy, big infielder. I mean, he's not your prototypical, you look at him and go, oh, that guy's a shortstop. I mean, you would say he's a strong safety. I
got him listed at 6'1", 201.
He's a good-sized kid, right? Yeah. And he's a freshman, so he's probably going to get bigger. So, I mean, is he too big for the spot? Maybe. Does he project better at second or third base? Possibly. But, look, I don't know. I think, and I've been around the kid quite a bit and seen him play a lot, that he probably can bounce from position to position. But I haven't seen him on a daily basis like these coaches have. Gavin Dugas, on the other hand, I'm a big fan of his work ethic and the way that he goes about his business. He is, first guy there and works his butt off and had some spurts last year. That's probably the most interesting position battle for me because both of those kids can really swing the bat. And it's funny, man, because, you mentioned it earlier, a highly thought of prospect that turns down a couple $1 million. How does he not, how is he not penciled in as an everyday starter for sure on this team? But it's weird. Certain things are valued differently in college than they are professionally. And it's not about projectability or, where's this guy going to be in 2 or 3 years? We have to get him at bats. It's about winning the day and winning, right now.
So Dugas got in the lineup last year because early in the season, LSU couldn't hit. Let's call it what it was. I mean, they were struggling mightily to hit the baseball, and Dugas gave him a little bit of a spark and then was injured, missed the bulk of the season. And then he tried to get back in, but never really got back full, up to speed. Is Dugas one of those guys that you look at if Doty wins a second base job? Is Dugas DHing?
It's tough. I don't know. I mean, you've a DH position's interesting because let's say Milazzo's catching. Do you want?
I don't think there's any doubt. I want Garza in the lineup every day.
Has to be.
Period. I want him batting fourth in my lineup every day. I don't know if Paul's going to do that, but that's what I would like to. If I just want, we saw it. I mean, we saw what Garza's capable of. He's got power to all fields. It's changed the scoreboard potential every time he's at the plate. So I want him in the lineup every day, regardless. But if there's an instance where Milazzo's catching and Garza's okay, but if Garza's your everyday catcher and that's predominantly who's DHing? Who do you want there?
Let's say Garza's behind the plate and Doty's playing second base. I think it'd be a mixture between or flip-flop it. It would either be and whoever's the hot hand, and this is kind of how that thing works, right? It's either Dugas, Doty, CJ Willis, right? So CJ Willis had a nice fall. We saw what he's capable of last year. I know he kind of got cold there and didn't really find his way back in the lineup, but CJ's a great example of the dude that grades out pretty high as far as a professional scout would go.
Dude.
I mean, he's what they look like.
He's toolsy.
And he's got power to all fields as well.
His welcome to the sport came when he pinch hit at Mississippi State, right? And went opposite field double. Mm-hmm. That was a hell of a, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. And he's battled injuries, battled them in high school last year, just never really got right. And so, you have a healthy C.J. Willis, a left-handed bat, a guy that can use the whole field as well. What do you do with him? So it's interesting, man. It's, we talked about this earlier. It's odd because normally you have these positions, pretty much locked down. You know where guys are going to be playing defensively, but Paul does have the ability to move a few of these guys around, and unfortunately, the one position that I don't think they all can play collectively would be shortstop, and that's the one offensively where you need the most help.
What about center field? We talked about Mo Hampton last week, but I know you're probably big of all the people that we talked to. You've been the most bullish on DiGiacomo as a pro. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you think he is a pro.
No, I mean, I thought.
So, is there any chance Hampton takes his job?
Maybe. I mean, I think offensively, if, depending on which one produces, I know DiGiacomo, I thought played well last year offensively. You know, I wouldn't say played great, but he had some times where he showed the ability to turn on the baseball. I think if he uses the field a little bit better, the opposite field a little bit better, maybe throws the bunt into his game a little more, because he does have elite speed. I mean, like top end elite speed. So that guy's got to be able to get there. But Mo Hampton's weird, and we talked about this.
You're weird.
I just haven't seen him enough. I mean, I don't know. I would ask me that question in a month where he's got 50 at bats, 40 at bats maybe, and you can make that determination. But knowing the way that Paul normally puts these defensive lineups out there, he's going to want his best defensive team on the field more times than not. He'll sacrifice some pop offensively to have a great defense. And when you have Cole Henry on the mound, who's a pro, Landon Marceau, who's a pro, you want your best defense behind you. And I think DiGiacomo gives you that better defense today.
DiGiacomo hit 275 last year, 33 starts, 53 games played, just as an FYI.
That's good.
Yeah.